Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be reviewing The Walking Dead, The Ones Who Live, episode 3. Without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. So, just for my initial thoughts, I thought the episode was fantastic. I thought the character development in the episode was really good. And I felt like those years apart were really starting to play a part in just the overall dynamic of the characters of Rick and Michonne, as well as the characters of Thorne or even General Bill. All those things kind of came and play in this episode. Now, if you were just looking for a quick, want to know if the episode is good or not, it's definitely good. But past this point, I'm going to actually start getting to spoiler territory. So if you do not want to hear anything spoilery, this is where you want to go ahead and jump off, and we will come back and you can watch it after you see the episode. Now that we got our initial thoughts out of the way, let's go ahead and start talking some spoilers. So just starting off, we start off the episode by going back in the past and kind of seeing when Rick first meets Yhis after he's arrived at the CRM. She meets him while Rick is on his basic orientation day for, I guess, all the people who are in consignment. They get to go to the city and kind of see how the city's living. I guess to just kind of reinforce that want to basically go to the city. Well, she catches him on that day. They have a quick little exchange where she basically lets him know that, of course, she saved him and that she feels like this is going to be a good place for it to, I guess, to grow and everything. Rick is not feeling that at all because Rick feels like, hey, we're not free. Why did you bring me here? She kind of reinforces the fact that she tried to save his life, and you come just from their conversation, you find out that in order for Jadis to actually gain interest into the actual city part of the CRM, she had to basically bring people to basically to the CRM, which we knew that from The Walking Dead, but we realized that Rick was the last person that she needed to bring back in order to basically to solidify her space in that part of the city. Once that scene ends, we then are jumped into close to the present day, but not quite present day. We basically are jumped back to the day where Michonne first arrives at the CRM, and you see that Rick goes to Thorne. When he goes to Thorne, it's the same day that Okafor had died, so she's visibly upset about that. But he asks Thorne to basically take on Michonne, just like Okafor had taken on both her and Rick, because Michonne is an A, but she saved his life, and he think that just based off because he want to do what Okafor would want him to do, and he want to basically bring her into the whole fold. Now this is, of course, is a lie. Rick is just trying to save his girl, but he uses Okafor's death in order to basically try to get Thorne to basically be the one to vouch for Michonne, right? Instead of him doing it, because you can be visibly tell that if he does it, then he's compromised, right? So of course, she agrees, and of course, she agrees due to the fact that she feels like this was what Okafor would have wanted, just kind of how Rick paints it out to be. We are then brought to present day, which were just kind of where we left off on the previous episode, where Jadis and Rick are having this conversation about what are we doing, right? If Michonne's here, then this is a problem because you can't escape. If you escape, we'll have to go back and kill everybody that came, everybody back at Alexandria, right? So Rick even kind of asked, okay, he's like, well, why are you doing this? You didn't have any problem with me basically trying to escape before, and she kind of let him know that, hey, you by yourself, it was no way you're gonna be able to escape, but you with Michonne, that's a problem because I've seen it. Y'all can pretty much do anything, right? So she's kind of doubled down on the fact that if you leave with Michonne, if y'all escape, I'm gonna tell, we're gonna go back and kill all y'all, right? Because what you notice in this scene is that Jadis actually believes in the actual plan of the CRM, right? She believes that whatever the CRM is working for, it's worth sacrificing any number of people, even the people that she might have cared about from Alexandria, in order to see it come to fruition. The next thing we brought into Michonne is there working on her consignment detail, and she's working alongside of you see like right next to this other consignees, and you notice that quickly. You quickly notice that she is destroying the mess out of these walkers. And she kind of you see like where she kind of looks off to the side, and she sees on the wall written Grime 68, which is the number to the I guess the most kills that were basically killed in one session, and that was done by Rick. So you see that she's killing a lot of things, and it's if it's not obvious to any of her people that's watching her, it's obvious to the audience and really just anybody else that's kind of paying attention that Michonne is A. It's so obvious that the after she finished killing all these walkers, her and another consignee is basically working, I guess, like let's say walker cleanup detail, right? And the consignee is like, "Yeah, you cold." And she's like, "What me? No, I'm just basically normal. I'm just looking for friends." Like, she's trying to play the part of I'm not as cold as I am. And Lay's like, "Nah, you cold." So as they're basically kind of getting rid of the walker bodies, some of the walkers in the actual pile turns out not to be dead, and kind of spring into action. Well, the CRM soldiers see this and they go to try to basically, I guess, stop the walkers. But before they can do that, Michonne start going to work with her little tool, or like her little I don't know what they call it, but her little staff that the CRM consignees use, and she killed a couple of walkers. Well, then her friend, well, quote unquote friend, the person that's like right, that her other consignee is basically there. She sees it. She's kind of wow. Well, another walker's coming up behind her. So Michonne goes and she like as she's fighting, she stabs and rips off the head of one of the walkers. She flings the head. It hits the walker behind the lady, saving her life. So the lady's like, yeah, just like, yeah, you cold. Like, I don't care what you said, you cold. All right, so the next thing brings us to Okafor's funeral. General Bill's giving the actual eulogy for this. You see that Rick's in attendance, of course. Thorne's in attendance. Jada's in attendance. Thorne seems to really be eating up this speech, and I'm assuming just because she saw Okafor as being just like a mentor. Like she really I guess believed what he believed, just due to him, of course, I guess going above and beyond trying to make sure that of course she understood their purpose. As General Bill's giving his speech, he refers to Hugh Mercer and how Hugh Mercer at one point was fighting on just different sides in the war, but on the war that counts, he was on the right side. And this is just kind of, of course, it's almost like he's speaking to like a Rick or even a Thorne, where it's like, yeah, before y'all might have been fighting for something else, and maybe our visions didn't line, but this is a fight for humanity. Thus, we need to all be on the right side. He referenced Hugh Mercer's sword that he actually carries. He said that he found it in like a battle, I guess heard about whatever, and it saved his life. And he basically referenced that the sacrifice that he feels that because Hugh Mercer died in just like the Revolutionary War, right, against the British, and he says that Hugh Mercer, the sacrifice he feels Hugh Mercer basically what he feels Hugh Mercer's sacrifice basically directly aligns with what Okafor's sacrifice in regards to their life in order for a greater good. So he gives this speech. After that, we see a scene where Rick and Thorne are basically just kind of walking, I guess, outside of where they had the funeral for Okafor, and she's remembering the time where she first met Thorne and how he came down when she was like, of course, stranded on the side of that ship, and how he was trying to save her, and she was like, "You should just left me for dead." And even after she tried to kill him, he still basically, of course, brought her into the CRM and kind of gave her a purpose. As she do this, they end up running into General Bill, who just kind of starts to give them, like, I guess, just words. He kind of reflects to how of course, Okafor was basically, I guess, pushing for them, even though he's not all that sure that it was the right thing for the CRM as far as in regards to Rick and Thorne. But he kind of really puts emphasis on that for Rick, he's not sure, right? He kind of states that he says he's not sure. He called him a pharmacon. He said, which is a reference to both a poison and a cure. Basically, like he feels like Rick can be either the poison or the cure, I guess, for the CRM. And he hands him a book, which is the book of family traditions, or martial arts, the book of family traditions by. And I got the name here. Let me get that by Yuguyu Mononori. And he basically says that he gave that same book to Okafor, right? Just kind of symbolizing, I guess, that, of course, he feels that Rick has potential, but it's going to have to be a case where he proves it because right now he's not sure. After that, he basically tells Thorne to come with him because he has some farther things he needs to discuss with Thorne. Later on that night, Thorne comes to Rick's apartment, and she basically lets Thorne let Rick know that she got promoted. So she basically got promoted to Okafort's position. That he was at before he died. And whenever she got promoted, they briefed her on the Echelon project, which is this top secret project that of course he needed to be a part that she needed to be a part of, and where she thought that it was going to be years for her to basically get into the inner circle for this. She got a part of this pretty soon, and she highly emphasizes that the information that she heard on during that conversation was something that made her realize that the CRM, their mission was she basically emphasized that it's worth the squeeze, right? That what she learned is worth the squeeze. Now theory time. I think what they were probably basically discussing was the potential, or like a potential cure, right? So that's something because she just seemed like whatever the information that they gave her made her feel like whatever we're doing is worth it, right? And this is something that only the top brass get to know about. Now that she's starting to go, she's moving up. She's learning about this, and she feels like this information is that important. So with that being said, she referenced to Rick that where he wants her to basically vouch for Michonne, and then how now she has Michonne, who's obviously an A under her wing as far as being if Michonne basically act up, it reflects badly on her. That this necessarily isn't a good thing. So she kind of reemphasizes to Rick that you need to make sure that she complies with what we need to do because I basically can't let her jeopardize my position type thing, right? Which of course Rick reinforces that he's going to be able to, of course, make sure that Michonne stays in line. The next day, the next scene, or at least the next scene that we see that Michonne it looks like she's at lunch for her actual consignment duties. And then we see Rick, she gets up to kind of go motion like she's going to put up plate away, but she's really going over there because Rick is clear nearby. Rick basically walks past her, handing her a note. When she later reads the note, it's basically letting her know that, hey, we're basically going to escape tonight. I need you to go to this location. It's here's a key. It's gonna be an underground. You're gonna go to this location where it's a locker that you need to open. Once you open that locker, it's gonna have like some equipment for you. It's gonna have a key that's gonna lead into a tunnel that's gonna basically lead to a canoe, and that's where we're gonna ride. We're gonna basically sail away. So Michonne all gun ho, right? And the cool thing about this scene is that it's interchanged with looks like Rick setting things up for her to basically escape. But she goes to the locker. She finds the locker. She finds the key. She also which we also find, which we see when she later goes into the actual tunnel, that he basically provided her with her katana. She kills one walker with the katana, and you see as she's walking, she see other walkers are there, but those other walkers are basically tied up or restrained with one of those with that cord that Rick was attached to on the very first scene of the very first episode, right? The one that he was connected to the soldier with. So she does that. She passes by that. She see a little, I guess like a little entrance where walkers are basically like filling the place up. They start to come out, but she goes right past that, and she goes to the place where she finds the canoe. Now, of course, like I said, this whole thing is being interchanged with Rick's position. Like before that, Rick goes to the place where the canoe is. He sees a walker body. He puts a jacket on that looks like the consignment jacket that Michonne is wearing on a walker's body, and that walker basically is like in the marsh, right? But so she goes to the same location. She finds the canoe, and she sees the walker that has the jacket like she has on. And then she sees on the canoe, it has a backpack. She looks at the backpack, and the backpack has a note. The note basically saying, hey, we can't all go. We can't both go. So you get on this canoe, you get out of here, you go back to Judith. But she sees a note. The note basically says, hey, I can't come with you because there's no way that I can go and we both go and we both escape. You go back to Judith, you go live your life. Basically forget about me. There's no way we can both escape, right? If you love me, you'll go type thing, right? So that's the end of that scene. The next day, we see that Rick and Jadis are basically having a conversation, and Rick tells Jadis that, hey, Michonne is gone. So Jadis looking like, what the hell, Rick? We just kind of talked about it. So he basically kind of plans it out. He basically let her know, hey, look, Michonne's gone. I done put a jacket on a walker that looks like Michonne. This is where you're gonna be able to find that body. What you're gonna do is you're gonna basically cover it up because it'll be bad look for you, just like it'll be a bad look for me. I'm not gonna leave. I'm gonna stay and do like run our course. We gonna let her seem like she's dead, and you're gonna be the investigator on the whole thing, basically to, of course, you're gonna be the investigator on the whole thing to basically make this whole thing kind of go, make it go like we playing, right? We're gonna basically get it through like that. So Jada's realizing like, okay, hey, this is a good solution, whatever. She agrees to the plan, but she basically kind of like, she almost called bull on it, like saying like, but you sure she left? Cause I don't see Michonne just leaving, whatever. He like, nah, she gone. This is the plan. This is what it's gonna be, right? You want to base something? This is the plan. If you wanna really participate on this whole save the world or whatever we doing, this is what it is. You're gonna do your part, and I'm gonna do mine, right? So all right, cool. So she leaves it at that. The next day, Rick meets up with Thorne at the consignment, basically the place where the consignment people are, right? And they working the walkers like they normally do. Well, we then quickly see that one of the consignment people that's still there is Michonne, and Michonne is murdering some walkers. So you know how I told you that Rick had that big walkers, amount of walkers killed 68. Michonne looked like she's trying to break that record. So you got Rick over here looking like, what the hell? And Thorne is over here looking at Rick like, what the hell? Not because Michonne is still there, but because Michonne is quickly showing that, hey, she ain't no B. And it doesn't look like Michonne is even trying to show like she ain't no B. And you can see on Michonne's face that she is visibly pissed off that Rick really tried to send her back to Alexandria without him. So she's hot. She upset, right? But she's killing these walkers. So after you see that scene, the next scene, Rick is trying to explain to her that they both can't make it out of here. He kind of let her know. He said, "Hey, look, I tried time after time and time after time again to escape this place, and I failed each time. And the reason I failed each time is because in order for them to not find you or whatever, you need somebody on the inside to basically be covering your tracks. I'm your person on the inside. Let me help you escape. Go to your daughter or whatever, and basically like go to your daughter or whatever, and basically like get out. Like, what are we doing? Get out of here, right? Because we can't both wasn't it. And I don't say Michonne gave that nigga gave Rick the look, but didn't say a word to him. And we walked back to do like I guess go back to work. Well, the next scene that we see, Michonne actually goes into the city, and just like how Rick had that first orientation day where he gets to go and see what the city looks like, is able to get to see what the city looks like as a new consignee as well. So when she's wandering through the cities in that little initial stalls, she runs into the artist that we see because we see an artist. He's been looks like he's been drawing pictures on TV screens, just any screens that he can see, like a digital item screen. And you quickly realize that, oh, okay, this is the person who was doing all the art on Rick's phone. So she goes and she's like, "You're the one who drew me," and he was like, "Oh snap, you Michonne, right?" Because I basically Rick will come over here every once in a while. He have us draw basically you. He have draw his the daughter Judith, and then we will also have us. He had us try to draw a card, but I could never get it right, right? Which could be, which I think is as a reference to the fact that Rick, it was never right to Rick as far as him trying to draw a call because call passed and it that didn't sit right with Rick. That's what I felt, but maybe I'm reaching, right? But he kind of lets her know this. So he was like yeah, he said he was so basically he was so sure that he would find you that man would like never stop trying to reach you. He said basically but then he kind of referenced to like at least that's how he was, I guess, like the first few years where he was try to reach you, and then it was just kind of like he started to get a little bit quiet about it. And the artist basically let him know that at that time, I guess when he started to kind of get a little quiet because I guess he seemed like he was kind of losing hope. The artist did like one last picture, I guess, like of Michonne and Judith, and this time he put the writing in. I'm not sure if it was Japanese but he put the little writing basically that don't stop believing or just keep believing a little bit longer, which Michonne knowing was able to kind of get that interpreted for. She knows what the basically what it meant, and he just kind of was saying he's like, well, look at that. He was able to found you, and you can see that the dude was like kind of impressed with that, and she kind of left that interaction with that feeling of kind of just believe a little bit longer because at this point she's starting to be a little disillusioned by the Rick that she's seeing because the Rick that she would normally see, it was no way to stop him from getting back to her, trying to stop him from getting back to her. At least trying, right? This Rick right here she's seeing, it seems a little bit more broken and almost seems like he's not even trying to get away at this point. So she has that interactions with that artist. All right, so the next day, both Thorne and Rick go to Michonne, I guess, to talk to her, and you can tell that Thorne might be a little bit intimidated by Michonne, so she's kind of reacting to Michonne in a more not in a kind of a snippy type of way or passive aggressive type of way. So she kind of asked Michonne, I guess, just about how was her visits basically to the city or whatever. Michonne kind of referenced like, oh, I like that they had nice art, whatever. So she was like, you don't seem like of course, like that you care for the city. And Michonne was kind of like, hey, do I have a choice? Basically kind of reference to the fact that, hey, these people ain't free. What you see that both Michonne and Rick kind of have a black and white view of freedom. It's no partial liberties at this point because we done fought, killed, and earned our freedom. Being in a place, even though it might be a quote unquote nice place, doesn't mean anything to them if that place ain't free. So you can see just from the interactions between Thorne and Michonne that Thorne picked up that, hey, this girl is an A and this girl is gonna be a problem. But Thorne takes Michonne to the same place that Okafor took both Thorne and Rick, and she basically tells Michonne that, hey, people like you, which we consider to be A, we wouldn't normally bring them into the whole fold of things, right? but we done brought you into the fold, and kind of starts to question Michonne, just kind of about like why are you here type thing. So Michonne kind of referenced to the fact that hey, and you can tell it's like she's also picking at Rick because she's still pissed off at him. She was like, hey, I was in what's name? I see a man who was helpless, looking like he's about to be killed. And it's funny because the person who was about to kill him was her, who's about to be killed. So I say, so I saved him, whatever. So Okafor, I mean not Okafor, but Thorne is like, what's the name? Helpless. Like I ain't never seen, basically I ain't never seen helpless, whatever. And she was like, hey yo, I heard what you're saying, but helpless is what he basically seemed to be to me. Now throughout this time where she's having this conversation, just picking about the energy that Michonne is giving, which is a type of energy. Thorne behind her back is pulling her knife, right? Because I don't know if she's like, hey, if this girl go left, I'm gonna murder her, or if she give me too much of this energy, I'm gonna try to murder her. But as she's pulling her knife, Rick done pulled his gun, and Thorne is thinking he's pulling his gun to back her up. Rick is really pulling the gun because if Thorne tries something, he's gonna kill her because this is Michonne, right? Despite the fact that Thorne just called him family, despite the fact that they've been together, like they've been friends or together whatever about 5 years or so now. Which, if you really look at the course of how long he was on The Walking Dead, like the original like time frame, I guess in the show is almost, if not like what's not right at, it's very close to the amount of time that he actually spent with them. He done really spent with Thorne. So Thorne thinks that hey, this guy's my family. She even referenced to the fact that he's my family. He's my only family. She thinks that he's pulling the gun to basically protect her. In reality, he's pulling the gun in order to back up Michonne if she needs to. Well, Thorne decides against basically, I guess, escalating the thing and basically lets Michonne know that she's gonna come on a mission with them, and she's basically gonna be played just like cleanup duty, right? So it's like, all right, cool. So afterwards, after Michonne leaves to go back, I guess to where she's going back to, uh, Thorne is like, you see, but you see that she got all type of A energy, and like I don't basically like she don't really see how this works. She kind of like, and she's like, look, you either had to pull your gun, and Rick played the part, so Rick was like, Rick was like, I pulled my gun because I saw you pull your knife, and I was like, hey, if I got to back you up, I want to make sure that I'm ready, type thing, right? But in reality, Rick was gonna have to snuff her out. So she was like, like, yeah, she's like, she got all type of A type of energy. But but we're gonna see, Rick is trying to like, Rick is trying to play it down so that she don't come like that, the girl is gonna be mendable, right? Well, the following day, they Thorne is basically leading a mission. And the mission basically is there's a herd of walkers who I guess like where they usually drop the disbursement bombs to basically make them go in different directions. They're not dispersing because the place that they're trying to drop these bombs, I guess there's mountains all around, is not causing the walkers to go in different directions. The walkers are still concentrated. So Thorne and her group of soldiers, which is going to be including Rick in this operation, a couple of other CRM soldiers, and Michonne as basically like a backup person to clean up after, like clean up the kills afterwards. We're all gonna go here, and they're gonna try to thin the herd by basically pushing a bomb into the middle of the herd, drawing them in, and basically blowing them up, type thing, right? That's the plan. And like Rick kind of asked, he's like, okay, so who's running point on this mission? Basically, like who's basically moving the bomb to where it needs to be, and Thorne basically let her know, like, hey, nah, I'm a run the bomb to the place it needs to be. And she makes this reference. She's like, even though I don't agree with everything that Okafor was talking about, which kind of leads you to the mindset too that whatever they told her, she's not following Okafor's path no more. Of basically where we need to get good leader type people into these positions. She's more on the line that we need to get the people that listen into positions so we can make sure that we go against the right goal. She basically referenced to the fact that even though I don't believe everything he believes in, I do believe in basically like kind of his style of leading, which is basically I'm leading from the front type thing, right? So the mission's going off, and Rick and the other soldiers are basically clearing the walkers around what would be the bomb, and the bomb is on like this little push. It's like a little push cart almost thing, right? And it's like I guess the bomb is built inside of it, and it looks like you can push the cart and it'll move. If you hit a walker, it'll move them out of the way. But you can push into the area wherever it is. It's stuck when she's trying to push it, so she can't get the strength to push it where she needs to push it. So Michonne comes forward like she's gonna be able to help her push this cart to where it needs to be, and she's like, "No, get back to your position." Basically, like this is where, basically, like I don't need your help type thing. Get back to your position, follow these orders. Well, it's not going well enough, so she breaks off in order to basically help, like Rick and the other soldiers clear the walkers around it, I guess, to get like another opportunity to be able to push it. But when she does this, Michonne runs up, grabs the thing, and start pushing it towards the objective. So Michonne's pushing it towards the objective, and of course Thorne is screaming like what are you doing? Get back to your position. But Michonne is an A, right? She don't care nothing about that. So she's pushing it to its position, and you see she's running over walkers as she's pushing it to the position. And the way they did it was pretty cool because she's pushing it, and you see her kind of lean to one side to try to, I guess, give it some little extra oomph. And then of course, who comes to her side to basically help her push this thing is Rick. And as they both push it together, you see they both are running to where it needs to be. They basically activate the bomb apparatus, and they run basically take cover behind like a tree. And of course, the thing explodes. It's like a siren. It draws the walkers in and it explodes. So as it explodes, you see they are behind the tree. They look at each other and they just start making out. Now, I'm a big fan that you gotta love it on your woman, but Rick is like taking his opportunities at the wrong time. We are surrounded by walkers, my friend. We are surrounded by walkers. And I get that we kind of been on the line this episode, and this is probably the first time we feeling like we on the same page or we are aligned, but it's a time and a place. And I get that you in the secret, so you got to get it where you can get it. This ain't the time or the place. But anyway, so he get his little kiss in, whatever, and thing like that, and then both of them go back, and you see they start helping clear the walkers that's basically back at the original location. Well, as they clearing the walkers, of course, Thorne has her rifle, and she's aiming, and you would think like, okay, she's aiming at like a walker. No, she's got her sight, and she's bringing up her sight on Michonne, like she's gonna shoot Michonne. And if you ever seen like I want to say, what is it, I don't know if it's season 2 or if it's I think it's season 2. Beginning of season 2, if you've ever seen the beginning of season 2 of The Walking Dead, Shane do a similar thing where he's basically got Rick in his sights, and he's kind of thinking about shooting Rick because he won't like Lori and Carl or whatever, right? But anyway, it just reminded me of that. But she got her sight like she's aiming at Michonne. Rick peeps this, and he basically moves his way into front of Michonne, and he kills a walker in front of where she was aiming at Michonne, and he's like, we got 10 more. Like we basically need to go on, kind of snapping her back to clearing the walkers, because Rick peeped that, okay, if he didn't basically intervene, she would have shot Michonne on purpose type thing, and he basically stops that from happening. After the mission, Thorne comes up to Rick and basically lets him know that she don't appreciate Michonne, and even him breaking protocol when the walkers were coming. And Rick kind of retorts with like, of course we basically kind of we was getting the thing. Like we was trying to help, and she kind of quickly shut that down with no, basically in the field, orders are absolute, and basically even I can't even let like basically you circumvent basically her chain of command, which is okay. We understand, But she kind of let her know, and she's like, "I'm gonna let you slide this time." But one thing she's kind of referencing that she ain't really feeling this Michonne A thing is not gonna work out, and Rick is basically letting her know it's cool. We'll put it back on cleanup detail. Will Wilson, I'm trying to help, but I think maybe it's too early for it. We'll just put it back on cleaning detail. So she's like, whatever, that's good for now. But you can tell like she's thinking we need to take this girl out. She's gonna be a problem later. But she's like, and she's like, basically, I'm have you doing all the grunt work, like refueling the cars and all this other stuff, just kind of paying me back because I'm letting you slide on like basically today. And then she kind of let him know that also General Bill's looking to talk to you because they're gonna move you up, right? So I was like, okay, so they trying to move the boy Rick up to be more, I guess, in the inner circle, right? Which is what both of them was looking for when they was following the Okafor plan. Well, Rick is going back towards the van where Michonne is, and boom, who do you see? Jadis. So Jadis come up like, oh, basically look like she ain't go nowhere anyway, huh? And then kind of reference like, I wonder, like, oh, she don't look like she seen me yet. So then, sure enough, Michonne looking, she look like, what the hell? So Rick comes over real quick and basically kind of scoop up him. She's like, what the hell's that, Jadis? And he kind of brings her around and he basically let her know, look, we done. We finito. We ain't nothing no more. You need to get out of here. You need to go. So I'm gonna get you out of here, and you need to go back to you need to go back to family. Or don't once say look for this no more. Like this ain't working. And Rick is only saying this because he's trying to make Michonne kind of like not love him in order to be able to leave and go be where she need to be because they can't escape together. This is what Rick is feeling. So Rick is selling all the stuff, and it's like you can tell like Michonne looking like, what the hell? Right? Basically, he tell like he's like he basically shut it down like, hey, we not nothing no more. I'm done with this. We getting out. Like you getting out of here. I'm going on my life. You to go on yours. So they got to take this. They got to take this helicopter ride back to the CRM together. They sitting across from each other. Now it is storming, and this storm is rocking the hell out of this helicopter. So I'm thinking, is the helicopter gonna get hit by lightning, by divine intervention, and knock us down? Nope. Pissed off Michonne opens the door to the helicopter and throws both her and Rick out the helicopter. I guess to like escape. But I was like, what? That was like, if it was any part of the episode where it was like, I don't know if that would work in the real world, it was getting thrown out of a helicopter. But it worked. It worked because it's The Walking Dead. But that was the episode. And I gotta say, out of my rankings for the episodes, I think this one was my favorite so far that I've seen. The first one I thought was really strong. It brought us back into the world, showed us what Rick was doing, and it was really good. The second one showed us Michonne's perspective. We had a breakout character in our boy Nat, and I thought it was good, but I think it was as good as the first one. I felt like this was everybody's episode where they came into their own. Now, Michonne really showed out in this episode. Michonne might be my person of, like, my top tier focus on this particular episode just because I like the fact that she was, like, everybody's telling her to basically not be her. And she's almost showing you, I'm going to be us because despite what Rick thinks or whatever, he ain't running nothing. And what I mean when he's not running nothing, Rick is coming from a place of fear. She's coming from a place of love. She's not fit to basically let Rick dictate how their story's gonna end. She's gonna be the driving force for them based off of that. And I think Denai just plays that part super well, especially in this particular episode. The next person I thought was really acting they butt off was the person who plays Thorn. She played a good antagonist for Michonne. She played, like, you can see that. I liked how they show her from being super upset from Okafor's death to being basically told the I guess whatever the secret information is from Echelon, and how that basically changed her from being a person who was trying to walk Okafor's path to a person who's doubling down and believing in what the CRM is standing for, and how that's going to basically bring a conflict in what's coming forth. But overall, I think this was a great episode. if I had to rate it, I'm not gonna lie, y'all. I don't know what's coming next, but this is feeling 10ish. I'm not gonna lie, this feels like a 10 episode. But I'm gonna say 9.5 to the 10 range. I'm gonna say it's a 10, but if I find something better, it might get dropped down to a 9.5. But this was a really good episode. It was really good, strong acting in this episode. So I think it's great. I think this has just been a great episode to kind of showcase all our three main focuses, both our Michonne, Thorne, and Rick sides in this whole thing, and I kind of can't wait to see what's gonna happen next with this episode after Michonne done threw Rick outside this helicopter. But if you've been liking this whole series or watching me kind of go down and breaking down what I'm seeing and my thoughts, please comment on the video with your thoughts because I want to hear from you guys too. Also like the video and subscribe to the channel because I am going to be doing this for the remaining 3 episodes as well. So without further ado, I'm going to see y'all in the next one. Deuces.